let's do this. Friends, hope you had a great week. Welcome to the SongBike YouTube guitar live stream Q&A session. My name is still Jonathan. I had a great week. My son is home from college, so life is good. And he made it through freshman year. That's all you can ask for a freshman, right? He did great, and it's nice to have him home. Hi, everybody. I hope you had a great week. I hope you get a little bit of sunshine. We are getting some sunshine here in Connecticut, about as much as we deserve. That's about all I can say. I am here for your questions regarding the guitar, but in between your questions, I have a great show lined up here. I had all week to think about it, and so I did. And I even thought to start the poll before the live stream even started. So yes, if you're able to take part in the chat, there's a poll going on. The poll question this week is, how good do you want to get on the guitar? Seriously. So your four options, and I realize this is a complicated, possibly a complicated question, but the four options that I put in the chat, because it only lets me put in four options. Option number one, I just want to entertain myself. No pressure, I'm just here to, the guitar is my way to relax and just chill out and yeah. Option number two, you want to get to the level where you can play Campfire songs, with or without the campfire, right? But you want to be able to sit with some other folks and bang out some songs in a nice social setting. It's a great goal. Number three, you want to learn your favorite songs note for note. I mean, that's your goal. You got some certain songs in mind, and your goal, you want to be so good that you can play those songs note for note, what they call the authentic way of playing the song. And option number four, basically, you want to be great. You want to play at a professional level. Okay, so I realize some of you might not find your spot amongst those four, but I know there's four things to think about. So do take part in that poll, and we'll check in with the results as time goes on. I would like to talk to you guys about the Phrygian Mode today. Yes, the Phrygian Mode. Don't worry, it's a lot simpler than you might think. I want to talk to you about a great quote. And Many Vibes, I don't know if you're here tonight, Many Vibes, but Many Vibes did something in the chat last week that I really liked. So I made that the quote of the week for this week. I got a dumb question for you, my own dumb question, which hopefully inspires you to ask lots of questions, because I'm going to put out my own dumb question tonight. I have a very cool play along song tonight that I can't wait to sing. I'll give it a few minutes until our numbers swell here. We got 24 of you already watching right now, but I think you will enjoy our play along tonight. You will not need a capo. You will not need an F chord. You will not need a bar chord. You'll just need 6 strings and a pick. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I want to share with you today some of the coolest guitar players that I have found recently on YouTube, and I'm going to put links to all these 4 specific musicians in the description of this video. But I can't wait to share with you these 4 musicians. 1 or 2 of them you might have heard me mention in passing, but a couple of them you have not heard me talk about because I just learned about them myself. There's so much good music out there. We all get caught up talking about whoever is in the news, right? I won't even mention any names because it's the people who are always in the news, the stars that are out there. And you know what? Good for them. They're doing the best they can. There's so many people who are below the radar, so to speak, and I love sharing those names with anybody, including you guys. So I'm going to share those some of my favorite people out there that maybe I had not heard of before, or I want to give them even more attention with you guys. I want to play a song for you guys from the Chord-Melody songbook that I keep talking about. It's a work in progress. It'll be done, I hope, by the end of the month, because that is my goal. I want to let you know I ordered a new looper. That's right, I'm getting loopy. I already have a looper, so why did I get another one? Because the one I have is big and expensive, and I got one that's small and relatively inexpensive. And so I want to, it's not going to come till Monday. Today is Saturday. So I'll put it to use in next week's live stream. But I want to share with you why I got a looper, why I picked that one, and how it's going to be incorporated in our live streams here. By the way, today is what, number 46, live stream number 46. Next Saturday's live stream we'll mark our 1-year anniversary. Anybody been here 12 months? I have a feeling that some of you were around for the first live stream in May of 2023. So next Saturday we'll have to eat some cake or something, because it'll mark 1 year. And then coming up soon after that will be our 50th live stream. Going to have a cupcake or two for that one. And knock on wood, by the end of the month, my custom guitar is going to arrive, which I want to celebrate that. And I want to include you guys in that because I'm so excited. Okay, so that's what's going on with me now. Hopefully everything I just talked about will happen during tonight's live stream. We've got a couple hours ahead of us, so plenty of time. I'm really here for your questions, and I enjoy your guys' questions more than you know. If and when you do have a question for me, make sure you put a few question marks in advance so I know you're aiming the question at me. Because I know sometimes you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, which is awesome, and I see those conversations when I timestamp this in the future tomorrow. I want to say hello to Thunder Ace, Stephen Mannion. Thank you guys for being here, early birds, even before we started the live stream tonight. Live to Fly, welcome. Pooba John, welcome. Pooba John, I know you sent me a message about finding people to play with around town. I haven't forgotten about that. I wish I had some great suggestions for you. Off the top of my head, I don't. But there's that cafe in Old Lyme. I always forget the name of the cafe. Nightingale's Cafe in Old Lyme, Connecticut, where they do a jam session on Tuesday nights. Anyway, so check in over there, Pooba John, and anybody who lives in this part of Connecticut. William Collier, hello. Stephen Smith, Scott Rhodes, Audiophile Man, hello. Rock Lobster, hello. Spooky Bed Hair, Spooky Bed Hair, hello. You guys, and here I was thinking SongBike was a creative name. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's get started while my brain is fresh. And you guys have your guitars handy, right? I hope you do, because we're about to have some fun, but it's more fun when you have your guitars handy. Now, if you don't have your guitar handy, don't worry, because what we're about to do is so simple and so straightforward that you're able to do this as soon as you get to where your guitar is. Okay, we are about to do a mini jam session. Or at a minimum, I'm going to show you how you can do your own personal jam session. And we're going to base our jam session on the Phrygian Mode, which is a very cool sound. And I'm going to explain to you what it is and how you can incorporate it in your life. Okay, so see this right here, a lot of information right here. That's okay. I'm going to walk you through this. How does that look? Pretty good. And the camera get a good shot of that. There we go. Okay. Now, instead of talking so much, I queued up a little backing track. And when I say backing track, it's just me recorded on my phone, on that voice recording app. I'm going to be banging out E minor and A minor chords. You're going to hear those E minor and A minor chords. While that backing track is going, I'm going to be improvising with the E Phrygian scale. Spoiler, it's just the C major scale. It's a fancy name for the C major scale. Okay, let's see how this is going to go. I bet it's going to go great. This is going to go for about 60 seconds, okay? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I can do it, you can do it. That's kind of one of my my guiding philosophies in this endeavor of mine. Okay, so what was just going on there? The background was an E minor chord, occasionally going over to an A minor chord, but coming back to E minor because we're in the world of E minor. Okay. On the paper there, you see the C major scale, one way of playing a C major scale, a really easy way of playing an E major scale. I say easy because, you know, it's 3 skinny strings, frets. It begins on the 3rd string, G string 5, 7. Use your index and ring. B string, 2nd string, 5, 6, 8. Index, middle, pinky, and easy E string, 5, 7, 8. Index, ring, pinky. You put that all together, it sounds like your classic do, re, mi. Right? It sounds like a major scale. But it didn't sound major when I just jammed on it like that because 2 things. The background was an E minor chord, mostly going over to an A minor for fun. And also, I made efforts to keep coming back to the note E, which is the note in the circle right there. The note E is the 3rd note of a C major scale. It has a circle around it. The way I was just playing the E just now was 5 on the B string, 5th fret on the B string. So I got, okay, so between the E minor chord in the background and the A minor, and the fact that I kept sort of returning to that E note, that the C major scale didn't sound so much like the C major scale anymore. It sounded minor, you know. It's for lack of a better term, it's brainwashing, right? I was hopefully getting you guys into this minor mode. Okay, so let me tell you about what my hope is for you guys, and then we'll get into the quick little thing about the music theory, but it's going to be pretty quick because there it is right there. But don't worry, I'll walk you through that. Okay, my hope for you guys is with whatever means you have at your disposal, whether it's just recording yourself on your cell phone like I did, or if you actually have a looper, or you have a friend who is perfectly happy to sit there and play E minor chords. By the way, A minor and B7, those 3 chords would be a nice complement. A minor, E minor, B7. You could do B minor instead of B7, or both. Shake it up. And then you improvise on top of your pre-recorded track, or you improvise while your friend plays the chords. Perfect world, you and your friends swap back and forth. You teach this to them, and you swap back and forth, and life is good, right? It's the musical equivalent of hitting a tennis ball back and forth, right? Okay, so if you want to sound coherent anytime you're improvising, but especially here, keep returning to that 5 right there. No matter what other notes you play, make a point every, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes. Every once in a while, I'll come back to that 5. You'll sound coherent. You'll sound like you're making you'll sound centered. You also get to enjoy the beauty and the fun of being stepping away from the sound of a major scale and the sound of pentatonic scales. A lot of us, or blues scales for that matter, a lot of us spend a lot of time, if and when we do improvise, it's with pentatonic scales, maybe blues scales, maybe major scales. What I just did there was a more, for lack of a better term, more exotic sound, right? So it's different. It's a different kind of tone. By the way, one big reason we're even doing any of this right now is because I got a lot of good feedback from you guys on the E harmonic minor scale we did last week. And I thought, dude, if you guys like this, there's plenty more where that came from. Okay, so my number one goal for you guys, I hope you just have fun with this. Just have fun. And I know at least a few of you got 31 watching right now. Let's say 10%, 10% minimum. This is your jam. Either you've done stuff like this before, like just improvising, or you've never done it before, and a little light bulb just went off. You're like, oh God, I can do that. If that's all you need, it's like, give me the scale and encourage me to use my imagination, and you're up and running. So I have a feeling at least 10% of the people who watch this, if not a lot more, are like, there goes the next hour of your life. Next time you pick up the guitar, you're going to be like, whoa, and just going nuts over this. Okay, so the music theory involved. Anytime you see that word mode, do not freak out. Any mode you ever hear about, and there's plenty of them, there's 7 to be exact. Any mode you ever hear about is simply a major scale starting on some other note than the first note of the major scale. Technically, if you start a major scale on the first note, that is a mode too. They call it the Ionian mode. So there you go. So when you play a major scale the proper way, you know, do, re, mi, even that is a mode. It's the Ionian mode. Okay. Any mode you ever hear about is simply a major scale from a different perspective, starting on the second note, starting on the third note, and so on. Believe it or not, though, that creates a profoundly different sound, or it has the potential to create a profoundly different sound as you repeat that scale over and over again. And an example is the Phrygian mode, based on the third note of the major scale. So, by the way, why did I choose the E Phrygian mode? Because it is the same series of notes as the C major scale. The C major scale has no flats or sharps. It's so easy to look at, right? The E Phrygian mode just looks like the musical alphabet, except starting on E and moving through the musical alphabet until you get to the next E. So visually, I chose it because visually it looks like, I can do that. It's just E, F, G, A, B. It's the white notes on a piano. You know, the other bonus reason is the background chord is, let's face it, the easiest chord you could possibly play on the guitar, the E minor chord. So even makes it even easier for you guys to create a backing track, right? You could go to YouTube and just pull up, do a YouTube search for backing track E minor and knock yourself out. It's kind of cool to do it all yourself, you know, but I'm a big fan of all those backing tracks. Okay, so are you guys okay with the fact that this Phrygian mode, which sounds very foreign, right? All it is a major scale beginning on the third note. You okay with that, right? Yeah. There's another way to define what the Phrygian mode is. I do not like this way of defining it, but I'm obligated to show it to you. Another way to define what a Phrygian mode is you go to the relevant major scale. In this case, I'm saying the E major scale is the relevant major scale. If we're talking about the E Phrygian mode, okay, let's look at it from the perspective of an E major scale. There's a different perspective here, right? You could argue that the C major scale is the relevant scale to the E Phrygian mode. It's a good argument. If you were to argue that the E major scale is the good reference point, to get to the Phrygian mode, you take the E major scale and you follow this formula, okay? You flat the second, you flat the third, you flat the sixth, you flat the seventh. That's the formula you apply to the E major scale, and you end up with that series of notes, the E Phrygian mode, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Okay. This is a very academic, almost mathematical way of looking at it, 100% accurate and interesting, right? It's so much quicker to conceive of it as you just take any major scale and start in the third degree. Done. End of story. Done. Got it. You know. But hey, now you know two different perspectives on what a Phrygian mode is. And again, I chose this particular one. I could have chosen other modes, right? I chose this one because it sounds so cool. It's just different, right? Very different. So that's the idea. What can I tell you? This sequence, this 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8. I found that to be a really useful pattern to memorize. Index ring, index middle pinky, index ring pinky. You know, three skinny strings, and yet you do ultimately use all four of your fingers, but it's just really easy to memorize. So if I am teaching anything that involves a major scale, it's really likely I'm going to choose that major scale, that pattern. Okay, 3 treble strings, the root note with your index finger, meaning you start with your index finger down. And just to be 100% clear, the reason why this one is called the C major scale is because my index finger is on the 5th string of the 3rd fret. Sorry, redo. The 3rd string, 5th fret. 3rd skinny string, 5th fret. That's the note C. If I took this pattern and moved it anywhere else on those 3 treble strings, the name would change, and the name would be directly related to the name of the first note that I'd move my index finger. For instance, if I move this pattern to 2 on the 3rd skinny string, that's the note A, right? 2nd fret on the G string, that's note A. And if I recreate the same pattern, I have an A major scale. Oh, here's one for you. It's an A major scale. You can hear that do, re, mi sound. So here's my question. What Phrygian mode is this? The A major scale. What's the Phrygian mode? Put it in the chat. Okay? Remember, how do you figure it out? You figure out the third note, right? The third note of the major scale is also the name of the Phrygian mode. Randy Downing, Randy for the win, C sharp, you got it. So if I happen to be playing a song in the key of C sharp minor, or jamming along with a song in C sharp minor, hey, anything's possible. I'm good to go. There's my pointer finger on the C sharp, second string, second fret. And don't forget, you wanna keep the listener centered on that note, right? So keep returning to it, so everyone knows that you know that you're in control, right? You're the pilot of the plane here, and your job is to reassure the listener that you got them, that you know exactly what you're doing. Okay. Oh, you know what? I was looking for songs, for popular songs, that you could use this to solo on top of, and Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by the Eurythmics. Sweet Dreams, ooh, here's a good one for you. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This is in the key of C minor. Okay, it's in the C minor. So what major scale am I going to reference? So I'm soloing using the Phrygian mode in the key of C minor. Okay, so now I'm asking you to do it backwards. Okay, and okay, we want the key of C minor. We want the C Phrygian mode. So we can jam along with Annie Lennox. Anybody here ever hear the story behind how they came up with that song? Very, very interesting story. Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart. It's just some, Google it sometime. Very fun story about how they wrote that tune, which was their first hit song. It was the first anyone had ever heard of the Eurythmics, and it was like, it was a hit song. But it's very fun how they stumbled into it. Okay, so to jam along with Annie and Dave from the Eurythmics in the key of C minor, which major scale will produce the C Phrygian mode? And just to recap, since we want to be, the C Phrygian mode, what major scale has C for the third note, right? Because remember, the third note is a point. What I'm asking right now is the reverse of what I asked you a minute ago. Okay, what major scale has C for the third note? I'll give you a tip. A second ago, we did the A major scale, and Randy correctly identified that the A major scale gave us the C sharp Phrygian mode. But now we're asking about the C Phrygian mode. Remember, A gave us C sharp, but we don't want C sharp. We want C. So A is close, but no cigar. What major scale has C? It's a tricky one. I mean, it can feel tricky. Oh, I'm stumping you guys. It's all right. Listen, I know that feeling. It's like, why is he making us do math? This is supposed to be a fun live stream. It's supposed to be like goofing around and talking about who's sponsoring. Today's live stream brought to us by Polar Premium Seltzer, Ruby Red Grapefruit. It's the seltzer to have when you're only having one. Okay. Which major scale has C as a third note? You got it. A65 Bill. Everyone look in the chat. A65 Bill got the right answer. Bing, 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 bing. Because A65 Bill clearly must have thought, okay, what scale has C for the third note? Now, A65 Bill, there's multiple ways. There's multiple ways you could have arrived at that answer, and and the good news is all that matters is that you arrived at the right answer. Okay, so one way of arriving at the right answer. Now I was trying to guide you guys here. If you saw Randy's correct answer, that an A major scale gives us the C sharp Phrygian mode, then an A flat major scale, see my finger moving backwards, would give us a C Phrygian mode. And anybody who's like, dude, you lost me, it's okay, that's all right, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But a few of you are like, okay, I think I get what's going on. Someone else might have said, hey, wait a minute, that you might just know your scales. And you might just know, let's see, an A flat scale goes A flat, B flat, C. Someone might know that. It's all right, don't worry. This is only if you want to solo along with, and I hope you do, with the Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. So for the record, if you feel like soloing along with that song, check it out. The major scale, that gives you the right Phrygian mode. Third string, 1-3. Second string, 1-2-4. First string, 1-3-4. 1-3, 1-2-4, 1-3-4. The A flat major scale, also known as the C minor or C Phrygian mode. So I keep returning that C note, second string, first fret. Oops. There you go. Hey, just for the fun of it, okay? All right. So thank you guys. I know I'm throwing you a bunch of stuff. Patriot Prospecting. I'm sorry I lost you. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, don't forget, you guys. You can always return to this anytime, and I hope you do. Okay. Listen, man, I wouldn't be throwing these curveballs at you if we had a bunch of questions in the chat. Although I did see some good questions. Audiophile Man asked, what is the derivation of the word Phrygian? Don't know. All I know is all the modes have Greek names. It's all Greek to me. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Locrian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian. Yeah, they're all Greek names, but I don't know. I don't know why the Greeks got the monopoly on naming these things. And I can't emphasize enough. It's good enough just to be able to play it. That's okay. Just to be able to play. I'm pointing up here for the record. I'm pointing up here at the paper, the tab, just to play it and know that as you're playing it and improvising with it, I hope that you keep returning to that 5 in the circle. That's the 5th fret, 2nd string, the note E. Then that bypasses the need to master all the theory that's involved, and just know that you can slide this whole pattern up the neck. But the root note of the Phrygian mode is always right there. It's always the 3rd note of the sequence. And whatever the name of that note is, as you move the whole pattern up and down the neck, that's the key you're in. So last thing I'm going to say, everything you see on the screen here, this 5, 7, blah, 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 you're going to move the whole thing backwards, 4 frets. Move it backwards 4 frets, and then that puts you in the right key to solo along with Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. 4 frets being the same as 2 whole steps. E back 2 whole steps is C, if that's helpful information. All right. Hey, we've got some super chat contributions coming in already. Thank you so much. Rock Lobster, Stephen. Thank you, sir. Live to Fly. Thank you. You guys are encouraging me. They're encouraging me to do more scale stuff. When you practice any scale, don't forget to do down-up picking, right? With your picking hand, that's the way your right hand benefits. Our moderators in the house, beginner guitar lessons. Thank you for being here, beginner guitar lessons. Okay, I'm scrolling now. I see some things here. Okay. How are we doing in our poll? I'm gonna open up this poll here to see. Oh, I don't want that one. This is what I want. Okay, the poll question: how good do you want to get on the guitar? Oh, I love how things are spread out here. Okay, so far we're barely, half an hour into our show. The poll question: how good do you want to get on the guitar? 19% say, I just want to entertain myself. 27% says, I want to play campfire songs with others. 35%, that's the majority. Or do you call it a majority? What do you call it? You call it the, I forget the term for that. 35% vote for you want to play your favorite songs note for note. Also a great goal. And 19% want to play at the pro level. You really, really, really want to get good at the guitar. And that's awesome too. But look at that, man. What a cool group of people. How interesting are we, man? We're not all a bunch of, copycats. We're coming at this from different places. And here we are. That's awesome. But if you have not voted, please do vote, because these numbers zip around a little bit during the live stream, I've noticed. So please do vote. And if you can't get to your computer at the moment, but you can join us in the next 90 minutes or so, don't forget to vote. Okay, let me say a few more hellos. Deborah, hello. Deborah, I got your email, thank you. Charlie Beagle, hello. Charlie Beagle has a great goal that I wish I could add to the list. You want to get good enough at the guitar to impress Guitar Center employees and customers. That's a great goal. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with, as you daydream about what your next guitar is, to say, you know what, I want to have one thing that I'm really good at. So when I go to the music shop to try out that, a bunch of guitars, I got that one thing that I'm really good at. That's a great goal, great goal. Why not, man? It's as good as any other goal, right? Okay. Soaring Eagle, welcome. I see your question. I'm going to get to that in a second. Many Vibes, I'm glad you're here. Many Vibes, while you're here, I want to give you a shout out, because Many Vibes, you put something in the chat last Saturday that I thought was a very interesting take. Many Vibes, do you remember that you quoted someone and you quoted them as saying, don't judge it while it becomes muscle memory. And I thought, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Whatever you're working on, especially if it involves movement, right? Changing from one chord to another, or a scale, or a riff, anything that involves, multiple facets, that relies on a significant amount of practice, and it involves, sooner or later it involves muscle memory kicking in. And that's something that you just can't avoid on any musical instrument. And so I liked your quote, don't judge it while it becomes muscle memory. And I'm going to remember that, because we all beat ourselves up. I do it too. Things, you can't get the thing as fast as you want to. You can't, it's not, you're working at it, but why isn't it getting significantly better? And, you can fill in the rest. So don't beat, it is becoming muscle memory. I like how, the quote says, don't judge it while it becomes, because that suggests that it's inevitable. Of course, you're going to get the muscle memory kicking in, of course, but don't beat yourself up. Just know that you're on the way. So I love that quote. And Many Vibes, what I didn't know was the guy or the person that you were quoting, Tomo, T-O-M-O. I do not know who that is. So would you, just to give credit where credit's due, Many Vibes, could you tell us who that person is? Tomo sounds like a philosopher, but I like that quote, so I'm going to remember that. Don't beat yourself up while the muscle memory is kicking in. It's going to happen. Just you got to be patient with that muscle memory. So okay. Now, I saw a good question there from Soaring Eagle. Soaring Eagle asks, what are the best guitar exercises for speed with accuracy? Scales and arpeggios. I'm guessing, Soaring Eagle, that you're talking about you're using a pick, and you're talking about moving from string to string with your picking hand. Sometimes combining maybe 2 strings at the same time, 3 strings, maybe all 6 strings, but then sometimes playing only 1 string, dancing all around. Ooh, like someone might do for a Chord-Melody arrangement, which I will play for you guys. Meanwhile, your fretting hand is jumping around, sometimes playing individual notes, sometimes making a partial bar with multiple things. Yeah. So, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but scales and arpeggios. Scales and arpeggios played slowly, memorizing the scale or arpeggio, but also specifically not memorizing it, so that you do have to look at the paper, so you have to trust both of your hands. I go back and forth. After all these years of teaching, you'd think I would have a very strong opinion about where your eyes should be whenever you play the guitar. And all I've come up with after 32 years of teaching is your eyes should be wherever they need to be. That's my answer. So Soaring Eagle, I'm going to give you the advice that I would give anybody. Get yourself a scale book, any scale book. There's so many out there. I found them in used bookstores, but you can go to Amazon or companies, different online places, and $10. I can't imagine a scale book being more than $20. But there's plenty of scale books out there. It may not seem like the most exciting part of your practice session to take 10 or 15 minutes and do nothing but scales, but man, a scale played with the proper fingering, which almost always involves all 4 fingers, down up picking with your picking hand, doing it slowly, steadily. Oh, if you have the patience to do it with a metronome, oh, that's going to help your speed and accuracy so much. Let's break your question into the way you did. Exercises for speed with accuracy. So speed almost undoubtedly involves tons of down up picking with your pick. I know I talk about that all the time. I assume other guitar teachers do too, because it's so important. Alternate picking, whatever you do, especially at scales though. Let's be very specific. I shouldn't say whatever you do, because there's times when you don't do down up picking. But scales, yeah, scales. What we got right there, this E Phrygian Mode. Holding the pick right, that's going to help with your speed. Remember curling up your picking hand into a loose fist, and the pick goes, against the side of your index finger. Your index finger acts as a wall, basically, and your thumb is doing all the holding. By the way, don't let your thumb extend way past. See that? See, my thumb is, the tip of my thumb is going way past the pick. It looks goofy, right? Looks goofy. Yeah, but I've seen people go surprisingly far past the pick. Think of it this way. The tip of any of your fingers, I would say, is the smart part of your finger, right? The extreme tip, right? The closer you get to your fingernail, the smarter your fingers get, right? So you want to control the pick with essentially the end of your thumb, not the middle of your thumb, right? So you might, I find myself bending my thumb knuckle so my thumb doesn't extend past the tip of my pick, past the edge of my pick. Anyways, speed and accuracy, holding the pick right is going to help. Getting more and more comfortable with down up picking is going to help. And then for your fretting hand, yes, scales and arpeggios, you can't go wrong. Arpeggios, don't forget, are scales with some notes missing, right? Instead of playing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you're only playing, maybe every other note, only the first, third, and fifth. There's all sorts of different types of arpeggios. In a perfect world, you guys would each have a book that's scales and arpeggios. Maybe I should write one, because there's just nothing better for speed and accuracy, for waking up your fretting hand. Almost all of us strum the guitar with our dominant hand and fret with our weaker hand, right? And you guys have heard me say before, we live or die as guitar players based on the abilities of our weak hand. It's crazy, but there you go. There you have it. I know there's maybe 1 or 2 of you out there who may play like a righty, but you're actually a lefty. So you guys have no excuses, right? In your case, your dominant hand is fretting the strings. I've come across a few students like that over the years who are lefties in most things they do, and they identify themselves as lefties, but they hold the guitar like a righty. And you know what? Power to you, because not only does that give your dominant hand, the responsibility of fretting, makes it a lot easier to shop for guitars, right? Lefties have a tough time finding guitars. It's not fair. Okay, so Soaring Eagle, I hope that answers your question. Audiophile Man says, is the Fender American Standard Stratocaster a nice guitar to play? Yeah, sure. Although don't underestimate the whole Squire series. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a Fender Stratocaster is such a standard, right? I mean, I know it's in the name, I get that, but I mean standard like with a small s. Um, Relatively thin neck, nice variety of tones you can get out of it. Like any electric guitar, it's extremely adjustable, right? Electric guitars, by and large, are bolted together, and everything is adjustable, controllable. I know there are plenty of guitars where the neck is not bolted to the body, such as Les Pauls, where the neck is glued in, what they call a set neck. You pay a little more for that. So yeah, audiophile man, if you're shopping for guitars and the Fender American Standard Stratocaster is in your price range, yeah, you can't go wrong. What I will say is Fender has tons of competition. The advantage of getting a guitar with a big brand name, Fender, Gibson, Epiphone, Squier, Paul Reed Smith, is resale value, trade-in value down the road. That's you're more likely to get more of your money back with a big name like Fender. I will say this, that every instrument should be carefully looked over before it hangs on the wall of the music shop, right? So there's no guarantee they're going to do that. So it's very possible that any of us could get a guitar that is a great brand name, great guitar, but needs some TLC, needs a luthier, a guitar tech to get in there, make little tweaks and adjustments. Many Vibe says, a Squier for me, I'm poor. Yeah, nothing wrong with Squier guitars, man. I owned a Squier for a while that I bought. Remember this story, you guys? Duke Robillard, fantastic guitar player, Duke Robillard. He made, I first heard of him, I was playing with Roomful of Blues, which is here in the East Coast, that's a pretty big name for a blues group. They're one of the biggest blues groups around here in the East Coast. Long story short, one of my students was taking some extra lessons with Duke Robillard over in Rhode Island. And I said, hey, Duke's wife is making him sell a bunch of guitars that he has all around the house. At least that's how I heard the story. And I said, well, I'd love to buy a guitar from Duke Robillard if it's affordable, if I can afford it. And one was a $250 Squier Telecaster, but with PAF pickups. It's a great guitar. I didn't care for the color, but I bought it anyways because the $250 guitar that was good enough for Duke Robillard. Yeah, man. So nothing wrong with Squiers. Every guitar, though, can be improved by being adjusted by a guitar tech. And every guitar can be a real pain if it has never been adjusted and it's getting out of whack. And doesn't matter what the brand name is or how much you paid for it. If it's getting out of whack and hasn't been adjusted, then it's not ideal. Not ideal. Lobby Dove, hey Lobby Dove. Lobby Dove is asking any disadvantages to buying an electric acoustic, an acoustic with a built-in pickup, right? Nope, no disadvantages at all. None at all. My understanding is that the vast majority of acoustic guitars, have a pickup in there. The electric acoustics, because they're so popular. I believe as your the more you spend on acoustic guitars, let's say your budget is $2,000, $3,000. As you get up into the stratosphere of acoustic guitar prices, you're more likely to find guitars that do not have a pickup or don't have one yet. And in the lower prices, most guitars, I think the majority anyways of acoustic guitars do have a pickup because it's such a desirable feature. I think at this point it doesn't cost the manufacturer that much more to add it in, and it's a super popular. So no disadvantages. The purist in me says, well, I mean, very often acoustic electrics, they're drilling into the side of the guitar. They're putting those back like control panel in there with all the knobs. There's like a 9-volt battery in there. So the purist in me says, you start drilling into the guitar and putting stuff on the guitar, it's going to affect the tone a little bit, right? I mean, it certainly doesn't make the guitar sound better as an acoustic instrument. But do I really believe it hurts the tone substantially? Nah, I don't really believe that. So I say go for it. If that's, especially if you envision yourself plugging in, and even if you don't envision yourself doing it, playing a stadium with an amplified acoustic guitar, it's fun to have that as an option, because you can add effects, right? You can plug your acoustic guitar into any sort of effect, whether it's a standalone effect pedal or a processor of any sort, and then from that processor run it into an amplifier, and all of a sudden you get all these amazing sounds out of your acoustic guitar, which is, how cool is that? I'm forgetting that an electric acoustic guitar potentially makes recording easier, because potentially you could plug right into an interface, right into your computer, as opposed to having a microphone right in front of the acoustic guitar and and recording that way. So yeah, so I say go for it. Then again, if you found an awesome acoustic, you like everything about it, but it doesn't have a pickup built in, then definitely get it. And you can have any guitar tech install any pickup you want. And how cool is that? You can decide when the time is right, and you can shop around and see what different brands are out there. And yeah, long answer to really a great question. And the answer is, yeah, go for it. Okay. Audiophile Man, I see your question. I'm scrolling up to make sure I'm not missing any other questions. You guys, as I always say, if you ask a question, I see, okay, I see some questions that I'm missing. If you ask a question, I don't get to it, it could be that I just missed it. Okay, so I see Many Vibes and Rock Lobster and Scott Rhodes. I see your questions. Deborah is asking how the book is coming along. I wish I could tell you, like, 6 more days. And all I can tell you is I have to finish the book by the end of the month, because I need to sell some copies of it to afford the guitar that I ordered, which is going to be, hopefully, knock on wood, done at the end of the month. So I'm extremely motivated to finish the book. Thanks for asking, Deborah. The book is Chord-Melody arrangements of your favorite tunes. I'm going to play one of them for you in a little while. Okay, so you guys keep the questions coming in. I love it. Many Vibes is clarifying the Tomo that Many Vibes is quoting is a guitar teacher who taught John Mayer. Very cool. Okay, so Tomo, that's who said don't judge yourself while the muscle memory is still kicking in. Don't beat yourself up. And I love it. Love it. Okay, Scott Rose asked, any tips for figuring out cool walk downs or walk ups for chord transitions? Great question. I do, and I'm going to use cowboy chords as an example, because I'm guessing that's where you're coming from, Scott. Although walk ups and walk downs, you can do them with bar chords, I imagine, but it's so much easier with the cowboy chords, the open position chords, partly because you can incorporate open strings down there. Okay, so number one, and maybe I'll use G and C as an example. Okay, let's make sure we're on the same page. These terminologies, these phrases, walk up and walk down, it's this kind of sound, right? And there's cliche ones like that, like you're going up some stairs and then back down some stairs, very linear, right? And then there's walk ups and walk downs that might be not so linear but sound so nice. So I'm still going to go G to C, but I might go like sounds a little more like, whoa, like rocking the boat a little bit. So number one, whichever two chords you are connecting, because that's what walk-ups and walk-downs do, at the heart, they connect chords. You got to know the root note of each chord, and specifically the root note on the bass strings, the 6th, 5th, or 4th strings. So G, the root note is that 6th string, 3rd fret. Is that the only G note that I'm playing? Nope. I got the open third skinny string. That's a root note. That's G. I got the first skinny string, E string, 3rd fret. But we're going to focus on the 6th string root note because walk-ups and walk-downs in general use the fat strings, more than the skinny strings. Okay. So you got to know where the root note is. So the setup here is G going to C. By the way, I'm doing G with my middle ring and pinky, not a coincidence. I'm playing G without using my index finger because my index finger can be hovering right where it's going to need to be for the C chord, and then my ring and my middle just drop down. Those of you who have never considered doing G with your middle ring and pinky, or you have heard me talk about it, but you're not sold on it yet, and you haven't put the time in to learn it, you'll never regret it. It's going to feel weird at first. A lot of you, we got 37 people watching right now. I know a lot of you have mastered this kind of G, but you remember how it did not feel good at first. I get it. Okay. When you play a C chord, ring finger, 5th string, 3rd fret. That's the note C. So I want to connect 6th string, 3rd fret. That's the G during the G chord with the 5th string, 3rd fret, C during the C chord, right? The root note of the C chord. So you got to know root notes because in general, the most satisfying sounding walk-ups and walk-downs involve one root note ending up, the run begins on one root note and ends up at the other root note. And what you do in between is where the fun begins. But you still want to nail that root note because, like I said, you're the pilot here, and you want the listener to know no matter what circuitous route you take them on, you end up back on the root note of the next chord, and all is good. And they had no reason to doubt your flying abilities. Live to fly, you still live to fly as here, right? Okay, so that's the premise, okay? From one root note to the other root note. By the way, on a D chord, D major, the root note would be the open D string. If you did a 4-finger F, the root note, 3-finger F, a 3-finger 4-string F, the root note is also on the 4th string, 3rd fret. So it's possible the root note will be on the 4th string. It's either going to be 6, 5, or 4. One of those strings. Okay. How you connect the two, I could say trial and error, because trial and error works, but trial and error is also the slow way. Well, it could be the slow way to do it. It could be the fast way to do it, to figure it out. In a perfect world, you would know the key of the song that you're in, and you would play notes from that major scale. Let's assume we're in a major key. Notes from that major scale that connect one root note to the other root note. Now, you might not know the key you're in, or even if you do know the key you're in, you might not know that scale to incorporate this, to follow this way of thinking. I get it. For you, trial and error might be the best way, and I don't mean to make light of that. I mean, trial and error, your two best friends. You can go a long way. Okay, so if I'm going G to C, I'm assuming I'm in the key of G. And I know a G major scale goes G, A, B, C. I mean, the first 4 notes, G, A, B, C. I know I've got my G as my root note of my 6-string 3rd fret G chord. And I know that's my G. I have the open A string, the 5th string. Next note I want is B. I happen to know B is 5th string, 2nd fret. And then I definitely know where C is because of the C chord. The C chord, not shockingly, has that note C, right? G, A, B, C. Now the only problem with what I just did is it's such a cliche, right? Boom, 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 boom. Nothing wrong with cliches. You want to get good at a whole bunch of cliches, and then decide to, mess around with them. By the way, what if the song was in the key of C? Lots of C, F, and G chords. If it's in the key of C, but I'm still going G to C, mentally we're in the key of C, right? That's the premise that I'm just proposing here. We're in the key of C, but we're on a G chord, and we're going to want to get back to C. We're in the key of C, so the C major scale is our reference point. But I happen to know the C major scale has the note G, it has the note A, it has a note B, and it has a note C in it. So the walk-up is going to be the same going from G to C, whether it's in the key of G or the key of C. Is that a total coincidence? No. But I just want to throw that out there because, as you guys know, you could have G and C, but maybe the remaining chords are chords that reflect the overall key of G, like say D, E minor, B minor. But maybe you're going from G to C and the key is C major. So you've got some Fs, maybe some A minors or D minors, G7, Okay, so Scott, this is getting into the weeds a little bit, right? Because you have to know what key you're in and you have to know how to play that major scale, within the first 3 frets of the guitar. Totally within, anybody can do that. Anybody can figure that out and sort that out. But it's, you gotta, that's a different, I'm sure it's a different part of your brain, So, another way to do it, because you mentioned, Scott, the way you phrased that question, you said, any tips for figuring out cool walk downs or walk ups and stuff? You can find a book that is already written out. And I say that because that's where I'm coming from. There may well be YouTube videos, the 14 walk downs you can't live without. I hope there is, and just go on YouTube and see. I wonder, have I made a video about those? I don't think I have. I wish I did, because it's a great idea for a video. But off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know if I made one. And even if I did, it was, I'm sure I didn't cover every possible, one. And yet, it's a great idea, So I'll file that away. Hope that helps, Scott. Rock Lobster says, how many scales are there, or is it endless? It can feel endless, but you can prioritize. For instance, major scales, pentatonic, majors and pentatonics right there. You pay enough dues, enough time with majors and pentatonics, you are so prepared for so much else. Here's an example. Pentatonic scales and blues scales are only 1 note apart. If you've really got tons of experience playing pentatonics, you just about got the blues scale. It's 1 note different. 1 extra note. Literally pentatonic 5 tones, pentatonic, and a blues scale is 6 notes. So major scales, there's your example right here, this E Phrygian Mode. Being really comfortable with major scales, playing them a few different ways up and down the neck, root notes, starting on the 6th string, starting on the 3rd string, starting on the 5th string. Remember, every major scale contains modes. Just you're starting the major scale on a different note, just like the Phrygian Mode is simply a major scale starting on the 3rd note, or emphasizing the 3rd note, or calling attention to the 3rd note, however you want to put it, prioritizing the 3rd note. So it might seem like there's endless scales, but there's certain ones that you kind of can't live without. Here's my sales pitch, though, for getting yourself a scale book. Crack open the scale book, some scale that sounds like the name sounds bizarre, right? And there's some pretty weird sounding scales, whole tone scales, all the modes, Mixolydian modes. Any scale, even if you can't imagine what it sounds like, you don't know any songs that would ever use that. It's great, especially scales that sound weird. Awesome practice. Number one, it keeps your brain turned on because it's so, you don't know what, you crack open the book, you look at a page, you don't even understand the name, just do it just to do it. That's going to push your ears a little bit. If you make a mistake, you don't know, right? I don't know. You got to focus, you got to pay attention. And just to do that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, great for your fingers, great for your ear, because the pattern may not be recognizable to your ear whatsoever. The pattern almost certainly won't be familiar to your fingers. So even just the 5 minutes, get a scale book and 1 by 1 spend 5 minutes on each page, and do that as a warm-up. Down up picking with a pick, right? Very cool. Many Values says, Jonathan, do you recommend 3 NPS exercises? I bet you mean 3 notes per string. Yeah, like doing bet that's what you mean. Sure. I mean, you guys, before I answer this question, I mean, I'm a fan of anything that's called an exercise. You know, I go for it. You know, so what I just played, and I hope we're on the same page, many vibes. I played a G major scale. I played 3 notes on the bass string, 6th string, and then I moved over to the A string, played 3 more notes, and then the last 2 notes of the scale to finish off the scale were on the 4th string. So for the record, 6th string, 3, 5, 7, index, middle, pinky. 5th string, exact same thing, 3, 5, 7, index, middle, pinky. 4th string, 4, 5, index, middle. It's making me kind of leap a little bit, especially if you catch that. I was asking you to do the 2nd note with your middle finger. That means you're gonna have to jump up a little bit, right? Move your arm, move everything, right? It's a little bit of a leap up there, and it may, depending on the size of your hands and how well you can extend your pinky, it may be a little bit of a leap to get your pinky up at 7. I might make it look easy. A lot of movement there. Well, relatively speaking, a lot of movement. So yes, 3 notes per string exercises. Sure, why not? Okay. Joseph Glasser, did I say hello to you, Joseph? Hello. Live to Fly says, I just love minor scale sounds. Yeah, right. Me too. Very evocative. Unsung Hero, I see your question. I'm going to get to that in a second. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, someone made a nice super chat, and I want to say, Randy, was that you? Thank you, Randy. I want to appreciate that. You guys, there are lots of ways for you to support what we're all doing here. One is basically a cash donation, and that's what Randy did, and it's called a super chat, and you can do a super chat. It's that $sign down at the bottom of the chat, and I say thank you very much. But it's not the only way. In fact, there's a way you can support what we're doing, but get yourself something, and that is by using this affiliate link. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Click on the affiliate link, go get yourself something from Sweetwater, and Sweetwater donates a little bit of their proceeds back to this live stream, this YouTube channel. So that's another way you can support what we're all doing right here. There it is. And that Sweetwater affiliate link, I put that in the description of the video too. And you don't have to click on it right now. You don't have to buy anything right now. But when you do shop at Sweetwater, click on that affiliate link first, and that'll take you to Sweetwater, but they'll know that I sent you. So that's a way you can support what we're doing here. And as you get yourself some new strings, some new picks, a case, a new guitar. Another way you can support what we're doing here, again, get yourself a little something over at song-bike.com, right? Putting that in. Okay. I got a bunch of books. Oh, I got merch coming. I'll tell you about the merch in a minute. Okay. Head over to song-bike.com, and that's where you can find all the teaching materials that I have for you guys. Most of them are electronic books that you purchase, and you get them instantly emailed to you as PDFs, and you crack them open on your computer. You can knock yourself out, and you can print them out or not print them out. The advantage of having them on your computer as a PDF is you can enlarge them. You guys might remember I'm very nearsighted, so I'm sensitive to how small print can be sometimes. Okay, hey, now's a good time to remind you that anybody, all of you guys, can get my free blues guide. Free. Head over to www.song-bike.com, and it's the very first thing you see, and you just put in your email address, and it gets sent to you right now, instantly. And it's a very cool. I love it. It's short and sweet, but it's packed full of information. And of course, there's a video that is free with the book. Okay, so I'm going to check off. I mentioned the blues guy. Okay, I'm going to check off this stuff. Hey, don't forget to vote. How are we doing in our poll here? We have 57 votes. Beautiful, beautiful. The poll question, how good do you want to get at the guitar? 21% says, I just want to entertain myself. No pressure, no stress. 25% want to be good enough that you can play around the campfire. Quote, quote, campfire, right? Play songs with others. Great goal. These are all great goals, but you guys can categorize yourselves. 33% want to play your favorite songs note for note. Great goal. And 21% to play at a pro level. You want to find out just how darn good you can get. And you want to be really good. Yeah, awesome, awesome. But like I said, all 4 of those categories, those are all excellent places to find yourself. And if I do my job right, hopefully I'm each one of you guys, you guys are get a little something to take away. Okay, so check. Okay, time for a dumb question. Here's my dumb question of the night. I ask dumb questions so you don't have to, of the week. Okay, here's my dumb question of the week. I don't know why I'm putting it in the chat, because I'm going to say it in a second. Dumb question of the week. Make sure. Okay. And this actually ties in with what we were talking about a moment ago. Okay, click. Dumb question of the week. Can you learn on a cheap guitar? What do you think? Can you learn how to play, especially if you want to be a good guitar player? Can you learn on a cheap guitar? Dumb question. But wait, it's not a dumb question at all. You know, especially if that's what your budget allows, you know. Blair says, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, there's your short answer, of course. Longer answer, every guitar, cheap or otherwise, every guitar needs some TLC. Many Vibe says, my guitar is free. Ah, you're a lucky duck. So ironically, you might get your guitar for free, or you might get it for an extremely low price, under $100, under $200. And here I am telling you, well, bring it to a guitar tech and get it checked out. So you bring the guitar that you got for, say, $75 from your cousin or at a yard sale, $75, and the guitar tech says, oh yeah, cool, yeah, you got a good deal, $75. You can come and pick it up on Wednesday. It's going to be $125. You know, after I'm done with it. I mean, it's going to cost you $125, and you're going to say, what? That's ridiculous. It's not. It's not. It's an investment. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, you know. But, you know, you got to bite the bullet. I'm not saying that's what it's definitely going to be, but prepare yourself that when you follow the instructions I'm giving you, the advice I'm giving you, it may cost you more than you want to pay. But it's going to make your inexpensive guitar feel and play and sound a million times better. It's not going to be fighting you, you know. And chances are you're only going to have to do it once, you know, because maybe it's been sitting in someone's basement for 10 years and now you pick it up at the yard sale, and you know, so that's the number one problem of an inexpensive guitar, a cheap guitar, a guitar that is made extremely fast in a factory. The number one problem is it's out of whack, for lack of a better term. The strings are like especially hard to press down. The tuners won't keep the strings in tune the way they should. The strings are old, maybe if it's been sitting in, you know, someone's basement. All of those things are things that can be addressed, and they might not even be expensive things, but they all need to be addressed. So the other reason, in a perfect world, we would be inspired by our instruments. Well, no, in a perfect world, we'd be, you know, inspired by the glory of the sunrise every morning. So don't let me stop you from finding your inspiration in there. But it's really great when a guitar inspires you. You know, the guitar, you open up the case and you can't believe you own it. It's what you dreamed about. It blows your mind. It's beautiful, and it's, oh my God, you could just look at it. You know, you have pictures of it on your phone to show people, and you just can't wait to play it because it's beautiful. It's really great when a guitar, you know, can inspire you like that. It's just that's awesome. And it could be that an inexpensive guitar might not inspire you that way. Then you got to power through, right? You got to find your inspiration elsewhere and save up your bucks for the guitar that does inspire you. And the reason I bring that up is, you know, this whole thing, pursuing music, it's a very emotion-filled pursuit, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It should be. There's passion involved, and there's, you know, hopes and dreams, and who knows what music does to our brains, you know, in general. Listening to it, performing it, you know, who knows? So to say that you hope and want to get inspiration from your instrument, to me, that's very logical. That's not touchy-feely. That's like, yeah, that we're already in a touchy-feely world, folks. You know, we're already in a world that's full of emotion and passion. So, you know, an inexpensive guitar might still be perfectly inspirational because it, you know, it looks great, sounds good enough, and it's like you've got your guitar, man. Like, better than not having a guitar. Anything's better than not having a musical instrument, right? But yeah, like, I suppose at some level, knowing that your guitar is not, you know, a $2,000, whatever, however you define a dream guitar. I guess that could be a little bit of a bummer, but just save up your money. Just save up, you know, sell something. I'm selling my old Toyota to pay for my my guitar. In fact, I got to get on that, man. It's a cool car. The Toyota Avalon, almost 300,000 miles, 280. Anybody want it? I haven't come up with a firm price yet, but yeah, 2006 Toyota Avalon runs great. It kills me. It runs so great. Starts right up. It runs great. I just don't need it. You guys want a car that runs great, 280,000 miles, give or take. Got to sell it. Got to move it on down the line, and I can use the bucks. Okay, so there's my dumb question, anyways, of the night, and feel free to weigh in on that. Okay. Last thing I want to say about cheap guitars. Never in the history of musical instruments has there been such a high quality level at such low prices. You know, in general, we're all lucky folks that for a relatively small amount of money, you can get a perfectly good guitar. Think about what the Beatles started with, right? As compared to what's available now. You know, CNC technology, electric guitars, especially electric guitars where you can, you know, run them into any sort of effects processors, amp modelers. Oh my God, such amazing sounds at such low prices. So it's a great time to be a guitar player. Okay, hey, I'm going to take a moment. I think I'm caught up on your questions. Charlie Beagle is saying, does anybody else get an ominous warning on your computer when you try to download the blues guide? Hope not. Does it say that, you know, watch out, you can't trust this thing? I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. I haven't heard, I forget how many people have downloaded so far, a lot. And I haven't heard anyone with any problems. I say, go for it. It's free. It's free. Okay, so looking over we got to get to our, let's do a play along song right now, folks. Let's do it. Okay, our play along song of the night. You ready, Freddie? Of course you are. Play along song of the night. Stop dragging my heart around. Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks. What a great song. Love this song. Okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes tops. I'm even going to set my little clock because I know if I I need someone to tell me, okay, 5 minutes is up. Okay, we're talking about it. There we go, 5 minutes. Put 5 minutes on the big board. We're talking about, and then we'll get into playing it. You don't need a capo. You don't need bar chords. I chose this song because at the heart of the song is E minor, G, and A. Any song that has so much E minor, that's a good song from my point of view. Okay, so let's get right into it. There's the chords that you need. These are regular chords, folks. A, C, G, E minor, A major, D. And the D only comes up with this interlude thing at the bottom of the page, an instrumental section about 2/3 into the tune. So pretty straightforward chords. The one chord that I'm going to bug you about, I highly encourage you to play G with your middle ring and pinky, okay, as opposed to your index, middle, and ring. And the reason is almost every single time a C chord shows up, a lot of the times when the C chord shows up, it's a relatively quick transition, C, G, C, back and forth. So you're going to be glad that you have mastered G with your middle, ring, and pinky, okay? In terms of strumming, see those little tiny slash marks? 4 counts in every measure. For instance, the very beginning, 4 counts on an A chord, 4 counts on an A chord. C once, G once, C once. At first, you're going to see me strumming this where every slash mark represents a down strum. So the intro is going to be 4 down strums on A like this. And 4 more on the A. And then C, G, C. So at first, it's going to be 4 strums. You know, every one of those little slash marks is going to mean a down strum. What they truly represent is 4 beats or 4 counts. So as the song goes on, I'm going to be strumming a little more rhythmically. 2, 3, 4. So you could say each one of those slash marks is going to mean a quicker down up, down up, down up, down up, down up. You know, still takes place over 4 beats, but instead of, I'm using the E minor in the verse as an example, instead of 4 nice steady downstrokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to do 4 steady down ups, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to start off keeping it simpler than that. But the strumming is not a big deal in this song, right? The biggest deal of all the strumming is the C, G, C. It happens in the intro. It happens at the what I'm going to call the end of the chorus. Right on the name of the tune, they say, "Stop dragging my heart around," and yeah, the intro, by the way, comes back again. Even though I call it the intro, it comes back again. Okay, so in terms of the strumming, you're welcome to play this with all down strokes, just nice and steady. Light grip on the pick, just nice, loose, relaxed strum. If you want to join me doing down, up, down, up, down, up, same thing applies. Loose grip on the pick, just nice and relaxed. My number one concern is that CGC thing. Stop dragging my heart around. That's the fast part, you could say, at least from your left hand's point of view. CGC. Okay. In terms of the structure of the tune. Okay, check it out. We have the intro. We have the heart of the tune, which is E minor, G, A. E minor for 4 counts, G for 2, A for 2. That's going to happen quite a bit. Okay, that's the heart of the tune, that chord sequence. It's going to happen 4 times, for example, in the intro, before the words even come in. Okay. Once the words come in, guess what? It's more E minor, G, A, E minor, G, A. That whole verse line happens twice. Later on, it actually happens 3 times. If you remember, this is a Stevie Nicks vocal where Tom Petty joins in occasionally with his own, like a solo. He makes a little cameo appearance 2 different times. I'm going to sing both parts, by the way. Playing the part of Tom Petty tonight will be Jonathan. So if you're playing along with the recording, by the way, and I hope you do, that's how you know it's time. That's how you know when Tom Petty sings solo, he sings, I know you really want to tell me goodbye. I know you really want to be your own girl. stay on the E minor G-A while Tom Petty is singing his part. Don't go to the chorus yet. Okay, so look at that chorus. C for 4 counts, D, C, D. See, isn't that great? C's and D's. Again, watch out for this. Boom, boom, boom. C, G, C. It's the one part of the song where like it breaks out of this nice steady rhythm. You'll see. As the chorus wraps up, it returns that E minor G-A business 2 times. But after you get through the chorus, you know, the second time through the chorus, you know, the first verse, first chorus, second verse, second chorus, it goes to the interlude. And when it's time to go to the interlude, it only does one of the E minor G-A's. I know I have both of them written there. It only does one of them. You'll see. I know. Don't yell at me, man. Don't yell at me. The interlude. It's an instrumental part of the tune, honestly, between you and me that kind of threw it in there. It's filler. There's nothing really remarkable. I'll say this during the interlude. Ooh, I'm just over 5 minutes. During the interlude, Tom Petty or someone in the band, one of the Heartbreakers, instead of just strumming the D, they do a nice little D suspended thing where the pinky joins in. I don't want to get into that right now, but in case you hear that, that's how you know it's the interlude. Okay, the interlude, that happens 3 times, back to the intro, and then it goes back to one more verse. All right, let's do it. I do not expect you all to have followed all that repeating stuff I just said, but please understand that I put a lot of time and effort into this, and this is exactly the most concise, accurate way to get it all in one piece of paper, you know? And beyond that, you got to blame the songwriter. All right, I'm going to hydrate my seltzer. Okay, now if I sit back a little bit, is that better? I want you to be able to see my left hand, man. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, so we're going to start right from the intro. It's going to seem like a long intro before Mr. YouTuber starts singing here. We don't have Mike Campbell putting those cool little guitar things. Some nice keyboard touches in this song, some nice drumming. Man, it's great. But I'm going to stay true to the actual arrangement of the tune. So it's all right. You with me? Okay, I'll see you on the other side. A major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, E minor. You come knocking on my front door, same old line that you used before. I said, yeah, well, what am I supposed to do? I didn't know what I was getting into. So you had a little trouble in town. Now you're keeping some demons down. Stop dragging my heart around. It's hard to think about what you wanted, hard to think about what you lost. This doesn't have to be the big get even. This doesn't have to be anything at all. I know you really want to tell me goodbye. I know you really want to be your own girl. Baby, you could never look me in the eye. Yeah, you buckle with the weight of the world. stop dragging my heart around. Here's the interlude. Intro. People running around loose in the world, ain't got nothing better to do. Make a meal of some bright-eyed kid. You need someone looking after you. I know you really want to tell me goodbye. I know you really want to be your own. Baby, you could never look me in the eye. Yeah, you buckle with the weight of the world. Stop dragging my heart around. How'd you do? I know a lot of you are playing because the chat quiets down right there. So there's like the chat stops. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So compared to a lot of songs we've done, I know there's a bunch of different sections here. That's separate for how hard the guitar is. So don't confuse those two things. I know we're jumping around. I'm like, oh, this only happens once this time. It happens. I get that. I know. But in terms of the skills, dude, A, C, D, E minor, G. Maybe the 5 easiest chords, right? Strumming, even if you just did downstrokes, you'd be fine. You know, other than Mike Campbell's very cool lead guitar playing, there's no specific like guitar strum you have to master in terms of the rhythm guitar. So doing just downstrokes is fine. You know, you saw that I got into the steady down ups. So don't get hung up on like, oh crap, you know, I'm lost, you know. That's all right. You know, what I will say is that I'm pretty darn sure I stayed with the exact arrangement of the tune, except they go on a lot longer with the E minor G A at the very end. The outro, by the way, after boom, don't stop dragging my heart around, the last time they sing that, they just fade out on E minor G A. Now you can go to Ultimate Guitar, and you guys have, I'd be surprised if any of you have not been to ultimateguitar.com to look up the chords and stuff. And that's great. It's a great resource. The problem with Ultimate Guitar is they typically list the lyrics of the tune, which is great, and they drop in little chord names above relevant lyrics, you know. The patterns are not always obvious. So by looking at this chart, it's really obvious how often the song is like E minor, G, and A, right? Like, oh my God, everywhere you look, E minor. It's really obvious how the chorus is C and D and C and D. Like it's so linear, right? This is a great way to look at the song structurally. So my advice though is feel free to use Ultimate Guitar. And knock on wood, this exactly goes with what you're seeing on Ultimate Guitar, but Ultimate Guitar in general, there's a lack of precision at times. So you might have to use all your resources, which is what I'm going to encourage you to always do anyways. Okay, so I'll say it one last time, don't get hung up on whether or not you got lost. That can be solved over time. It's some of the physical things, like say that fast C, G, C, if that's tricky to do, or many vibes, you know, is the G to A that was messing you up. That the physical stuff, that's that that should occupy way more of your attention than worrying about like the chorus and stuff. That can always come later, and that uses a different side of your brain, and you can, there's ways to sort that out. And I'll say it one last time, just by listening to the song, you will get more and more intuitive about like, oh yeah, I can just tell it's time to go to the chorus. You know, Tom Petty comes in with his solo. I know you really want to be your own girl. Well, trust me, as soon as you hear Tom Petty finish that line, it goes to the chorus. And but you can feel it. The drummer does a fill, Stan Lynch. They do a fill, like you can, you know. The advantage, by the way, if you are an adult, is you've heard so much music over the years that you have explanations, you have expectations, and you're used to hearing things subliminally. So when the drummer, you know, I know you really want to be your own girl, boom, 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 boom. When the drummer does like that, you know it's going to the chorus, right? So that's an advantage. Okay, I see you guys are talking about a split measure. Yeah, I would call anytime you have two chords in the same measure, that's a split measure is a great name for that. So C, G, C, you know, G to A. Yeah, that, like I said, I'm fully aware this song is, it's up a little bit, up a notch from some of the other ones, or many of the other ones that we've done. But I couldn't resist this song largely because of the emphasis on E minor, you know, and then the remaining four chords are pretty easy chords, you know, and such a great tune. Not particularly fast, but if some of you, if this is, you know, feels like a lot to some of you, I get that. Yeah, yeah. Hey, speaking of the previous songs that we've done, every once in a while during our live stream, I like to throw this up on the big board. There's the songs that we've done up until now, and I'll just leave this up here for a minute. Okay, and all of these live streams, you guys know this, right? These are all recorded. They're all available to you. So those are the songs that we've done these play-alongs with before, and there we go. And there's the live stream number. If you want to, you know, Stirred Up by Bob Marley, live stream number 44, right there. Okay, so want to make sure you guys got a look at that. Okay, so we're checking off a bunch of things off my to-do list. I'm going to go back and check out the chat. Joseph Galasso, A to Z Guitars on another website that shows like tabs and lyrics and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. It's like Ultimate Guitar is the one. Randy asked a great question. Is it cheating to use a one finger A? Not at all. That's like a rock and roll A chord. One finger, and just disregard the skinny string. Don't strum it. Don't worry about how, if it's ringing clearly, just disregard it. It's a rock and roll A. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. By the way, everything I showed you is accurate about Stop Dragging My Heart Around. What I can't prove is that, say, Tom Petty is necessarily strumming an E minor chord and a G and A the way we just did it. Could you do like a rock and roll? Could you do it with power chords? Sure, you could do it that way. It works so well with the cowboy chords, especially when it's you and your like acoustic guitar. But you could take any song and substitute a power chord for the cowboy chord, an E power chord instead of E minor, a G power chord instead of G major. And that's you know, so while I feel confident with what I showed you, I have not done a deep dive and analyzed like, well, what, you know, exactly what did Tom Petty play? What did Mike, what, you know, actually I have that in a book now that I think about it. And so maybe it is accurate, you know. Okay. Many vibes, many vibes. You want us to be doing finger picking? You could do a finger picking version of this. You can do that. Okay. I believe I'm caught up on your questions. And if I'm wrong, please put your question again in the post, in the live, in the chat. Okay. Lobby Dove, you got a good point. Coming back and rewatching this video right now at half speed and playing along with it, definitely. Hey, but the option B is pulling up the song on YouTube and playing that YouTube video at half speed. You know, yeah, whatever it takes. It's a great idea. It's such a gift. I'm still confused at why YouTube makes it so easy to watch videos at a different speed. I mean, I love it. It's such a great option. I'm almost like, what are they thinking? I don't know. It's as if they thought, let's do a big favor for guitar teachers and make that an option. I can't resist the confession I have about Sweet Child of Mine. I never cared for that song. I know the intro, people go nuts over the intro. The intro, I don't know, I don't find it particularly moving. I don't think it's such a great song until I played the song at 1.5 times the original speed. Oh man, it's like a sort of a punk feel. It's a great song, a million times better. You know, I'm not talking about the intro riff. I'm talking about the actual song. You know, you speed it up a bit. Love it, love it. Oh, sweet child of mine, she got word. Oh, love it. Someone should do a version of that, like a punky kind of version. I dug it. I dug it. Lobby Dove says, what do you say to playing C add 9 instead of regular C? Yeah, in general, I don't know if you're talking about doing it for Stop Dragging My Heart Around, but in general, sure. Just so no one yells at me, I feel the need to say, you still want to make sure you've mastered a regular C chord, but to use it either as a temporary, as an option, a temporary substitution, or you just do it and see if you like how it sounds, how it fits the song or any song. Sure. In fact, good on you for knowing that C add 9 is a thing. Knowledge is power, and options are great. The reason I'm sensitive is my big viral video called the DCG trick. About 1% of the comments over the years involve someone saying, that's not how you play a C chord. You're telling people something incorrect. So just in case there's any grouchy people out there, I'm not saying don't learn how to play a regular C chord. As if, you know what I'm saying? As if. Okay, we've got a little time left. Ooh, I mentioned to you guys that I want to turn you on to some of the coolest guitar players I've found on YouTube. And everything I'm about to share, I am going to put it in the description of the video as well. But in no particular order, I just heard a recording by this player, and that turned me on to him. And I'm about to put in the chat his name and 2 YouTube links. There you go. Okay, a young Irishman named David Murphy. The YouTube links, one is an interview with him, which I found very interesting, and the other is one of his songs, like a more artistic video to go along with one of his songs. Steel guitar in an Irish setting, and it's beautiful stuff. So definitely check out David Murphy. And he has an album out that I have been listening to just to chill out. Oh, it's just a very, hate to say it's relaxing because that sounds like faint praise. So his music, it makes me feel relaxed. But let me just recommend it. I definitely recommend it. Okay, some of you have heard me mention this next fella before because I am a fan. And I might have been posted this link before, but hey, why not? Duke Levine. There's his name. Oh man, what he's got such a great touch. Anything that he has recorded or performed is worth checking out, and the link happens to be him doing an instrumental version of that song called Fairy Tale of New York, recorded by the Pogues, right? That great Pogue song. And he does a sweet guitar instrumental version of it. He has lots of stuff online, videos and stuff that I could have chosen. I chose that one just because it's very unique and very sweet and heartfelt. I believe he posted it and recorded it and posted it after Shane McGowan of the Pogues died. And so anyways, Duke, I believe he just got off the road, being on the road, backing up Bonnie Raitt. And you know, whoever Bonnie Raitt hires to be her backup guitar player on the road, you don't need any more credentials than that. Okay, how about, oh man, you guys might recognize this next name. Oh man, Joachim Cooder. That's right, Ry Cooder's son. Oh man, I did last Sunday is my day off, which means that's when I try to do a whole lot of yard work. Last Sunday, I had my little earbuds in, and I just listened to Joachim Cooder for a long time while I did yard work. Man, so cool. So the video link that I posted, it's Joachim Cooder playing a thumb piano known as an Mbira, M-B-I-R-A. That's electrified, amplified. He's playing that. He's singing. His dad, Ry Cooder, is on banjo on this particular track. And there's other musicians joining in. Now, I know he's not literally performing the guitar in the video that I'm suggesting you guys watch. But the music is so cool. And I can't recommend it highly enough. Plus, it's fun seeing his dad playing some banjo. And interestingly, Joachim Cooder recorded a whole album in that format on this electric thumb piano, based on the songs of Uncle Dave Macon. I don't know how folky you guys get going back into country music history, but Uncle Dave Macon, a real character. Anyways, enough about me yapping, but check out Joachim Cooder, check out that link, and I think you will dig it. Okay, last one, fast one. How did I not know about this next person named Ella Feingold? You guys, why didn't you tell me how cool she is? Okay, somehow I missed the boat, but I'm on the boat. I'm in the fan club. Ella Feingold, here comes Ella Feingold. Okay, Grammy winner, Ella Feingold. She got her Grammy on her recording with Bruno Mars. You guys know Bruno Mars, but she's played with everybody, like everybody. A lot of contemporary names like Jay-Z, Bruno Mars, like I said, Erykah Badu. Anyways, Ella Feingold. Number one, she's a great player. Number two, she is really into rhythm guitar, and you know that's my sweet spot is rhythm guitar. And she posts a lot of videos online illustrating different funky, awesome rhythm guitar things. But what blew my mind, or my mind is in the process of being blown, and I haven't done a deep dive into this yet. She did not invent inverted guitar tuning, but she's popularizing it and reinventing this thing called inverted guitar tuning. And I just scratched the surface as to what inverted guitar tuning means, but she's getting a lot of attention for what she's doing with this concept. And so to give an idea of what inverted guitar tuning is, and believe me, I reserve the right to re-explain this and clarify this in the future. Imagine what happens when a lefty takes a righty guitar and holds it this way, right? I'm gonna scooch this out of the way a little bit. Okay, so skinny string is up top, right? Skinny string is up top, and bass string is down below. Okay, so imagine if your guitar, you're still playing it righty though. Imagine you're playing it righty, but the strings are reversed, right? Inverted. Okay, so your skinny string is up top. Got it? Okay. For a reason that's not clear to me yet, the D and the G. Here it is. I'm gonna do the whole lefty playing a righty guitar thing. The D and G get, in essence, they get reversed. So the one is where the other one is, that you reverse them. Okay, and you now tune the guitar this backwards. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. I know, if you're like Jonathan, you lost me. I know, that's why I'm saying I'm still trying to figure this out. Yeah. So imagine if I instantly became a lefty. If now I'm a lefty, and I'm holding the guitar like this, right? But and I keep my skinny string E. My second skinny string B, I tune that to A. I don't touch the G and the D. I leave those the same. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. The last two strings, so I keep the fat string in E. The last string, that is now my B string. Remember, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Eddie ate, I'm going to skip over the two middle ones. Bye, Eddie. I know, you're thinking, why? Why would anyone? Listen, I'm right there with you. But she's getting a lot of attention for the cool things that she's doing in that tuning, and she gives credit to where she learned it from. But fascinating stuff. Okay, that's my last. I'll let it go. But to be continued. What the heck is up with inverted guitar tuning? Don't wait for me though. Go ahead and Google it. She has done videos, and I'm sure other people have done videos about inverted guitar tuning. If some of you are thinking, yes, Blair, yeah, if some of you are thinking like, dude, I'm just trying to like work this out as a conventional tuning. I'm right there with you, but it is intriguing. And I'll give you one quick reason why it's intriguing, because there's no, we're not playing a logical instrument anyways. There's no logical reason why the guitar is tuned the way it is. I mean, I get how it's fourths, I get the end result, but there's, who made somebody the boss of how we all play the guitar? It doesn't have to be tuned this way. The problem is so much of the music we've heard, like 99% of it, was performed with this tuning. So if your goal is to play your favorite songs, okay, well then you got to stay in the conventional tuning. Having said that, you can do whatever you want. There's no committee that is going to be checking. There's no tuning police. Tune however you want to. Many creative people have done that. Stephen Stills, Joni Mitchell, for example, off the top of my head. How about everything? Who was that band? The Pixies. Didn't the Pixies do tons of alternative tunings? I don't think it was the Pixies. Anyways, so why not invert the guitar tuning? But like Blair said, as if the guitar wasn't hard enough. Lobby Dove says, why would Eddie eat dynamite? I know, we've got to come up. I've been working. My little brain has been working. Oh, one reason my little brain has been working on alternatives to Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, or Eric and Dwayne got blues early, or Easter bunnies go drinking after Easter. One reason I'm thinking of alternatives is merch. So I got some merch coming your way. I can't wait to share this with you. I found a company that I've heard excellent things about. I'm going to get a little merch for myself, the ball cap t-shirt. Well, check out the quality, and but I look forward to sharing that with you guys. Speaking of tuning police, because why not? If you're going to wear a t-shirt, why not wear a SongBike t-shirt? If you're going to protect yourself from the sun with a baseball cap, why not a SongBike baseball cap? So I just had a cute idea for like the back of the t-shirt to say something other than Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, but like you would know what it stands for, so far, this is not a keeper, but so far, the the best one I've come up with, and it's a work in progress. Let me make sure I say it right. I'm going to start in the E. I'm going to go from skinny to fat, E, B, so on, Okay. You guys know in a Econoline van, right? the Econoline, classic Econoline van, kind of the working person. You know, you throw your stuff in the Econoline van. If you're a musician, it's a great van to throw your stuff into. Tour around the country in your Econoline van. Even brilliant guitarists drive an Econoline. Not bad, right? Get it? Even brilliant guitarists drive an Econoline. I don't know. That's the best I have so far. But I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. I kind of like that one so far. So someone to see the back of your shirt and they'd say, wait, even, oh, it must be a guitar player. I get it. But I want to see if I can do a little bit better than Eddie 8 Dynamite or Easter Bunnies or whatever. I don't know. All right. Let me see. Did we do the song of the week? Yes. How about we're going to wrap up in a minute, and I will do, before we wrap up, I'll play you another example from my upcoming book about chord melodies. Okay, let's do that right now before I run out of time. So a chord melody arrangement. You take a famous song, you make sure you know how to play the melody of the song. You make sure you know the chords to accompany the song, and then you mix the chords and the melody in a way that works for you. Helps if the song is a slow song. Helps if the song is a well-known tune, because people, as soon as you start playing it, people begin listening for the melody. And even when you're strumming a chord to complement the melody, they know what they're listening for that melody note. The sound of the harmony of the chord doesn't throw them off. And it helps if the chords are easy chords. Let's play Name That Tune. If I do my job right, many of the 33 of you will recognize this song right away. And this was, I think, a request. I think way back February, when I was looking for requests for songs for the Chord-Melody book, I think this was one of them. So if you were the one who requested this tune, thank you. To be in the correct key with the original, it would have a capo on the 2nd fret, but let's not worry about that. Okay, how many notes will it take you to name this tune? 1, 2, 3. What do you think? There you go. Norwegian wood, right? Yeah, pretty. So Norwegian wood checked all those boxes. Famous song, slow song, and in terms of the chords, E major, E minor, B7, not even a complete B7. It's a B7 where you don't even need the pinky. There's one harmony, and it's correct. I just don't love how it sounds. I might revisit. That's a good thing I'm playing it for you guys, because it's not too late to revisit it. She asked me to stay, and she told me to sit anywhere. She asked me to stay. It's that one thing right there. I mean, it is accurate. It's not exactly a chord. I might keep that, I might not. It's the last note of the phrase, so it makes sense to harmonize it with something. Sit anywhere. I don't know. It's that 4 on the 4th string, the F sharp. Anyways, it's fun to tweak it. It's fun to like say, oh, you know what? I'm going to change that one note because it's my arrangement of it, you know, and yet I want it to be as easy as possible and as satisfying as possible. So there you go. Okay, so that's an example of what a chord melody is all about. I bet a lot of you recognize, oh yeah, there's Norwegian wood, but because there's some nice chords involved, it doesn't sound quite so empty and hollow, you know. So yeah. Okay, Deborah was singing along. Excellent. Joseph is requesting California Dreamin'. Yeah, did I ever do a video on California Dreaming? Many Vibe says, when undecided, go with sus. Sus. A65, Bill, you got it. Norwegian wood, Deborah, you got it. Norwegian wood. Thunder Ace, thanks for being here. I'm just reading the different things in the chat here. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I'm looking back to make sure I did not leave out anything on my personal agenda. I think we're at a pretty good stopping place here. Here's what to look forward to next. Well, I'll put this in the chat too before it's time to go. And don't worry, this will also be in the description of the video. Next Saturday, I will be employing a looper. Which looper and why? I'll show you. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay. An inexpensive looper that gets great reviews. And there's the link in the chat. I'll put it. So you guys know what a looper is, right? You have to plug your guitar into it. So it has to be a guitar that you can, you know, an electric or an acoustic electric. You plug it into the looper goes into your amp. When you press the button of the looper, it begins recording whatever you're playing. Then while you're playing, you keep playing. When you press it again, you've now created a loop, and it begins playing that loop without you. And you say, look, Ma, no hands. By the way, hi, Mom. In case my mom is watching. Hi, Mom. Hi to my wife. My son. Son, are you watching? Thanks for watching. Dog, cats, household. Hello, household. So the loop begins looping, and then you play along with it. So fun. So fun. Now, I've had a looper for many years, but it's big, expensive. They probably don't make this exact model, so I thought I'd get a new, fresh one, relatively inexpensive, simple to use. So I hate to spend your money, but I might convince some of you to invest in one. Hopefully the exact one that I'm getting, because I expect it's going to be awesome quality and awesome in every way. And then I can show you, every time we do a live stream, I can show you, hey, here's a way to use your looper. For example, remember way back 2 hours ago, the Phrygian Mode, you know, and I was like, hey, man, you can strum some E minors, A minors, throw in a B7, get a loop going, and play on top of it. And I gotta warn you, you know, it's so much fun. It's once you get the hang of it, it's so much fun. You are a one-person band, and it does wonders for your lead guitar skills. It does wonders for your scale playing. It's addictive. I'm just warning you, it's addictive, and it's something to be proud of, because if you've created the loop, the chords, or whatever the rhythm guitar pattern happens to be, and you're the one improvising on top of it, it's really something to be proud of. It's like someone who builds their own house or something, you know. It's just a beautiful thing. So it's something to look forward to next Saturday. And maybe I will have an update about merch, because the stuff I ordered, I think it'll be coming, hopefully it'll be coming this week. And I just want to, before I encourage you to spend your hard-earned money on a SongBike t-shirt or hat or something, I want to make sure that the quality is just right. And I have every reason to think it will be, but I got to do my due diligence. And maybe I'll even be wearing some cool SongBike hat next time I see you. I hope so. Okay, my friends, so let's call it. There's 2 hours on the nose. Ooh, may the 4th be with you. I know, I had to say it. May the 4th be with you. And tomorrow is Revenge of the 5th. See, I I teach a lot of middle school kids. I mean, I have a lot of students, and I have enough who are in that age bracket that I learn things like that. May the 4th be with you, and tomorrow is revenge of the 5th. So happy Cinco de Mayo. That's tomorrow. Everybody, Mother's Day next Sunday. Make a plan. It never hurts to listen to what your mother or the mother in your life never hurts to listen to what she might be saying, because there's your plan and then there's what she would like, So I'm just saying, you got a whole week ahead of you to get a plan together, Mother's Day, it's coming. That's a little public service announcement from me to you. And I intend to take my own advice, I hope. All right. You guys, so much fun. Final poll results. How good do you want to get on the guitar? 22% say, I just want to entertain myself. I'm just in it for fun. 28% want to play campfire songs with others. 31% consistently in the lead of this poll. Play your favorite songs note for note. And 19%, I want to play at a pro level. I want to get really good at the guitar. Excellent. Well, all of you are in the right place. You're in the right place. That's what we're here for. Awesome. Okay, you guys. I will see you next Saturday, May 11th. It will mark our 1-year anniversary. We're gonna make something happen. So yeah, next Saturday is our 1-year anniversary. Soon after that will be our 50th live stream. I must have taken some weeks off in there somewhere, and good times. We're gonna have some fun. Okay, you guys. Till next time, have a great week. Play some guitar, come back and watch this. I'll have it, hopefully tomorrow I'll have this timestamp so you know where to come back to the parts that you want to come back to. All right, you guys, see you next time.